This is what I've named a cased display that I built actually over the last 2 days. I'm going to have company as we do this video. That's okay, she's a good girl. This is Comet. I'm sure many of you already have gotten to know her, and she's a little lover. But anyways, a few days back, my buddy Gil and I paid a visit to the Bethesda thrift store here in Saginaw. Now that's a thrift store that I generally avoid because of the prices. Even on broken items, prices are quite high, what you might expect to pay for things that are brand new. But being everything is donated, they could once in a while cut their customers a bit of a deal. Once in a while though, as on this particular day, I will find an item priced right that really grabs my imagination and sets it to motion. Gil, I just walked by this one section, and Gil was right behind me, and he showed me 2 tiles that I had missed that were made by the Bradford Exchange. Then that's always quality merchandise. And these tiles were produced in 2000 and are titled The Dawn of Man Millennial Masterpiece Collection. So the 2 I bought are part of a set of 4 and limited to an edition of 10,000 each. They feature excellent reproductions of the cave art from, and I know I'm probably gonna butcher how you say this, Lascaux caves in Dordogne Valley of France. And the artwork, the original artwork, dates back some 20,000 years to an era known as the Upper Paleolithic. Now I'm going to show you the display in just a moment, but the path that man took, and woman, after the Great Flood and the world was being repopulated is fascinating because we went through so many changes in such a short period of time. I mean, mankind spread out across the world in a relatively short period of time, actually. So I put this case display together. I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and go over and show you this. I built this in a small 10-gallon aquarium, which is something that I acquired from Gil too, as well as a really nice stand. I make many displays this way because it protects them, and it's just a good way to let people see the items and not have to worry about them getting damaged. So let me stop here for a minute, take the camera off the tripod, and I'll meet you over at the cased. So here it is, and I rather like the way it turned out, and I would like to explain to you about some of the pieces that are in here, particularly first about the two tiles. The colors in the cave, as on these tiles, used was black, yellow, reds, and whites, although I don't see any white on these 2. To make the various colors, natural pigments were used. These included dirt, red ochre, yellow ochre, animal blood, iron oxide, and manganese. And the pigments were applied using twigs, blowpipes, and bird bones to spray on the cave walls. Now the originals are massive in size. Okay, so these are just really, these are very much in miniature, and like I said, they are massive in size and closed off to the public now because of damage done to them by, I guess, the constant tourist traffic. So anyways, I wanted the display to resemble a cave, but with just the tiles setting in place, it looked sort of bare, you know. So there was a dilemma I had. I had nothing else in my collections that would date back to 20,000 years from the area of France. So I started a search on eBay and actually found some awesome spear points and such for much less than I thought, and they would look great, and maybe sometime I will purchase them. But for right now, I had to think of something else to come up with a nice looking display because the money just was not available right at this particular moment. So these are objects that I found locally, but the cool thing about ancient man, if you will, how they made their tools didn't deviate a whole lot. So the items you're seeing in here that I'm going to describe to you in just a moment are things that, or similar items that were probably used in those caves in France to make the original artwork. So starting over here, let's first do a little zoom in. So these first two artifacts on the left are pointed stones. They've been purposely worked into that shape, and they would be used for pecking against other stone, maybe to break up chunks of ochre or to actually peck a design into the wall of the cave. Because besides just the paintings, there were a lot of images engraved on the cave walls. These are from Saginaw, Michigan. They date back to the middle to late woodland period, so not to exceed probably 3,000 to 2,500 years old. Okay, then as I move over here, on the left is a handheld knife and chopper. It could be used for either. And again, this would be for breaking up. In the case of the caves, it could have been used for breaking up again chunks of ochre and other minerals, and further processed with. Well, I'll show you how they might have been further processed in a moment. This is a tanged celt. It would have been in a wooden handle, and for chopping wood, or primarily probably for chopping wood. Behind that is another handheld chopper. These are pieces, like I said, are all from I found here in Saginaw or nearby. This large piece is a very special piece to me. It is a chunk of clay that I found below 6 feet under the ground, and it is a very crude bowl, and the center was pushed down by somebody's fist in ancient times. It wasn't fired like pottery. It air dried, and it is very hard. In the depression, you can actually see the knuckle marks of the person who pressed that clay down to use for whatever purpose. But it could have been used again for processing, even here in Michigan, red ochre and different things of that nature. It probably goes back, I would say, to the very early Archaic period, considering the depth that it was found at. Something kind of neat about it when you look real close, I hope that focuses, you could see the striations, the layers that were laid down, over different seasons. And in the center, the depression, I have some red ochre stained sand. In the back is a very nice handheld knife, banded shirt. It was found in Saginaw, but that shirt is not, I do not believe, is a Michigan shirt. Here's a squared pestle, and the end down here was used for grinding. So over here we were processing larger chunks of minerals. Over here we were preparing it, refining it for use. And it probably would have been mixed with bear grease, animal blood, animal fat, saliva, so on and so forth. Next to that is a hollowed out bone, which is filled with yellow ochre, and it has a little knife in it. This is a mineral that was used by them too. So this very easily could have been a device that they used in the caves. This ovate piece is again a handheld knife. Really nice piece, much older than some of the other pieces except the clay piece. Was found here in Saginaw, Michigan also, but I'm thinking that this could go to the late Archaic period. Behind that, it's a greenstone chopper, again handheld. It has brownish red patina on it, and it's a very nice piece. Then to add ambiance, there are some fragmentary animal bones. Those were picked up at Three Pipes in Lascaux. And then that's about it for what's in here. I hope you've enjoyed looking at these. I love the artwork of early man or man shortly after the flood of Noah's time. So please let me know what you think. God bless y'all. Love you very much. And I'll see you again real soon.